wake up in the city, or you got to get stuck in traffic, or you're going back home. Now you got to drive back home, unless you're going to try to sleep in the car and do that. You do that for a week, my friend. Anybody driving 12 hours a day for a week, your body will feel the vibration. Even when you're not driving, your body will need to kind of recuperate. And I don't drive drowsy. I don't drive intoxicated. I drive sober, and I drive awake and aware and in a good mood. And that's for my safety as well as everybody else's out there. And so I'm trying to do the best I can to make some fucking money until I find some other kind of work. But not for nothing, I was stuck by myself all day long, working sometimes 7 a.m. to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night on holidays just to make that mortgage payment to keep the roof from falling in my house. And this gig, the rideshare thing, has been a lot more enjoyable, a lot fun, but a lot more costly and expensive and a lot harder to make a living. There's just a lot of costs involved, and it's very tricky. I know that some fake folks do it, and they can turn around and clear a couple $100 easily. That's pretty hard when you have gas tolls and you're in a rural area. I think in New York City that's one thing, but I don't have the TLC. And unfortunately with this, you do every once in a while run into people who shouldn't be in public, let alone the back seat of my private vehicle, and cause a lot of stress. And every once in a while, you'll realize that a lot of people, they just can't afford this service either, so they're not trying to tip you. And the rich folks, it's so funny. It's like the rich just don't tip at all. Some of them do. Some nice folks of mine. I'm going to be, completely transparent. They do tip, but most of them don't. And they're rude, and they're pissed off that somehow or other their car broke down, or they're not driving. It's bizarre how people feel like they want to take the liberty to be abusive to someone who's providing a service for them, because somehow they think that they're lesser than them. It's been a story of my fucking life, and it's hard to get famous and do what you love, doing, and do it without getting arrested or getting thrown in jail. If you look at a lot of celebrities, they get famous. They did so at the right time, especially in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And they did risk their freedom. But nowadays, with digital marketing and social media, the world has become so completely different and bizarre. I'm documenting myself literally working myself to death to try to save everything I worked so hard for with my mom and dad, and that they worked very, very hard for their whole lives to pass on to us so that we can have it. And my brother's taken no interest and no participation whatsoever. He's made it difficult for me to establish estate accounts and sell anything that needed to be sold. And now when I go to try to do it, it's even become more complicated. And he knows damn well what he did and the debt that it cost. And his attitude was just sort of wipe his hands clean of it and let me clean up the mess. And he needs to get his stuff out of there. It's, gonna go up on YouTube soon, all this. I'm just documenting this because I woke up, had a fucking nervous breakdown. I can only wake up and run and exercise so much to deal with my emotional and mental health. But you get these constant, I get constantly bombarded by bills. I have no fucking family whatsoever. And they don't give a shit. The ones that are alive, they don't give a fuck. They didn't give a shit when my parents were alive. They didn't give a fuck. And honestly, it's like, what, so be it. I've come to not expect anything from anybody. For those of you who did me wrong and you paid the debt that you owe me,